Welcome back to us here at KTV. Now, next up is the presidential debate, and actually what we've got coming up now, you'll see on screen. This is how you can get involved on Twitter at home. Each candidate has a hashtag, so if we see on screen there, we've got Philip. If you want to vote for him, put yes Philip. For Carl, it's yes Carl. For Tom, yes Tom. For Grace, yes Grace, hashtag yes Grace. For Chelsea, hashtag yes Chelsea. For Matthew, hashtag yes Matthew. For Joanna, hashtag yes Joanna. For Anthony, hashtag yes Anthony. And for Kahindi, it's hashtag yes Kahindi. When you do that, each one has got a power bar on Twitter. Every time you vote, their little power bar will go up by one, and it will look something like this. This is a complete example image. None of these votes have even been counted yet or started, but we are going to start the voting system now. We're going to reset it. There we go. It's all reset. And the voting system will start. So we'll have those hashtags up throughout the show when one of them's speaking. Basically, it's at KentTV, then a space, then hashtag yes, followed by their names.
Okay. Just a point, these votes don't actually count. It's all to see how well the candidates are doing. Voting opens tomorrow from 1 o'clock, so you can start voting on the Kent Union website from there. This is just a bit of fun for KTV and to get you interactive at home. I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, basically, if you agree with something that the candidate says up here, why not let us know? Just give us a tweet, use one of the hashtags, and then we'll be able to see, we'll display the graph as much as we can. Okay, let's head back over to the stage now.
Hello, I'm here today because there's a division in Kent Union between those that are involved and aren't involved. I, like many, have been asking the question, what if that was different? Next week on the plaza, you're going to see people handing out leaflets promising you the earth. What I'm pledging is achievable, inclusive, costed, and will make a difference to students' lives. If elected, I want to be held accountable by every student here at Kent. I will overhaul the zones and union council by working with students so that all officers are held accountable by you. Kent Union priorities should be dictated by us, its members. As president, I will call for a vote to decide the president's priority campaign. For every Kent Union student, for many people in Kent Union is a quagmire of bureaucracy. We need more staff to increase that. We need more staff to ensure that emails and funding requests are answered fast. That isn't a catchy policy, but it's what we need to build a better union. Whether you are raising money for RAG, improving your course, or volunteering as part of a society, our union needs to be tailored for you. The services the union provides must also be improved. The way we support students must be broader. If you elect me, I will immediately begin on work to have a price match promise in essentials to put more money back into your wallet. If you elect me, I will build a more democratic, accountable union with education and student support at its heart. In short, an end to a what-if union.
Okay, and next up is Phil.
Thank you. I want to start by saying why I think this election is so important. It's about the future of our union, which means it's about the future of our students. If the union does not reform and does not change now, it will fail to deliver and fail to deliver for its students. It will have a poorer and less engaged union. I'm running on one clear goal: to reform our union, its democratic structures and its services. I wanted to say at the start that this is not an anti-union campaign, nor is it a pro-union campaign. It is a pragmatic and realistic campaign that recognises what Kent Union has gotten right, but equally what it has gotten wrong. I believe I have the best policies to help free up societies from too much red tape and give additional funding. I believe I have a pragmatic approach to education because we've got a point at the moment where we have got some of our most disadvantaged students who can't even afford decent textbooks. But also, I believe I have the right policy for Medway by giving them an elected VP. We need to reform our union and our democratic structures away from what we have at the moment, where a small group dictate policy which does not affect or is not relevant to the lives of students, and to move it more to an open and democratic union. So I hope you vote for me, and I hope you vote for reform. Thank you very much.
Okay, and next up we have Tom.
Yeah, nice. Thank you. Lovely. Hello, my name's Tom, running for Kent Union President. In this bar, all these people in front of me, I can see lots of potential for making change and making a difference. I truly believe that every individual has the potential to do something great. How do I know this? Well, I've seen it at first hand. It's happened to me. When I came to university, I wasn't particularly outgoing, nor was I academic. I was a bit average. But the people around me, my flatmates, my friends, all the fellow students of politics and my lecturers, they helped me discover my potential. And as president, I want everyone here at University of Kent to find their potential. I've got experience as a course rep, Education Zone Committee member, as a welcome helper, Student Darwin Committee secretary, and as an amateur filmmaker as well. As president, you've got to bring out the most in all the staff here, in your volunteers and the sabbatical team. You've got to bring everyone together. And I want to do this passionately, and I'll work really hard for it. I will campaign for greater financial support by making grant applications more accessible and visible and transparent, greater employability opportunities for all by networking with employers and other universities. And I also want to make the union more interactive by improving the Kent Union website, as well as creating cross-discipline journals, lectures and events. I want to unlock the potential of all people across the university. I want to unlock the potential of the university. Please vote for me, Tom Spare, for Kent Union President. Thank you very much.
Okay, and next up we have Grace.
Hello, I'm Grace Bailey. I've been praying to run for Union President for the last year. In that same time, I've been working within the union as Elliott President and have been able to see its strengths and its weaknesses. I intend to improve the areas which are strong and focus on the areas which are weak, bringing them up to the same standard. If elected, my number one priority to you will be the problem of student funding. Student funding is at the moment not readily available, and where it is not accessible. I will utilise the Access to Learning Fund, access agreements and loans and bursaries from the university to make funding more available and accessible to you as students. Next year, I will ensure that the Building Up project continues, and I will work with sports clubs and societies so that the result of this scheme meets the needs of all students. The lack of social space on campus is a massive problem, and as Elliott President, I have been working on this within Elliott College. If elected, I will use this experience to make sure we invest in more social space university-wide. Last year saw the introduction of the zones, in order to make the union more open and available to all. While some great ideas have come from these, many students don't even know that these zones exist. If elected, I will conduct a review into how the zones are run and publicised to make sure that all students can participate democratically in the running and policy making of their union. I believe I am the strongest candidate because I have the experience and skills needed to carry out this role effectively. I understand that the weaknesses within the union cannot be solved with one answer. I have represented students and their needs for the last year within my college and am running now to do this on a larger scale. Thank you.
Okay, and Joanna?
Hi, my name is Joanna. I'm running for Kent Union President as well. We're in a very interesting time right now. There's a lot of uncertainty, especially with the economic climate, especially with the high tuition fees. I mean, who knows what the future might bring? And a lot of people might be thinking, well, why does that matter? We're voting for a president. We're not voting for lower fees. Well, these things are all relevant because they all affect the future outcomes of students. And my main manifesto points are greater information, which means that the union has to publish everything it's doing to all students, whether be it posters or a calendar or a better website. All these things can be done. Also, compulsory training on Moodle and a better SDS service for all students. So all module conveners use Moodle effectively and consistently so that work is easier to find and easier to navigate. A bus service to Hales Place could be improved, but I'm also proposing that we put more buses to places like London Road Estate and Surrey Road. In addition, I'm hoping to get cheaper and better accommodation. So when new accommodation is built, the old accommodation, which has been around for the longest amount of time, gets reduced in the price. I realise a lot of you already know who you're voting for, and it might not even be me. So all I'm asking is to read all our manifestos and to consider me as your second or maybe even your third preference. Thank you very much, and vote for me.
Okay, and next up is Kayinde.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kayinde Ayole. I'm a postgraduate student, and I've had experience as an undergraduate, and I believe that the best experience and the best thing you can take out of a university is an excellent experience. And I believe this works together if the union and the students themselves can provide an environment that will enable the experience that is best for them. I pledge to work along with every member of the Vice President and the Secretary's Welfare, Accommodation, and all to make sure that they are listened to and to make sure that the plans and purposes for the university is based on the motivation that would give you the future you want as a student. That in 10 years from now, you will look back to the university years you've spent and you'll be glad and thankful, really thankful and deeply thankful that you have the time to get the experience you desire. And this is what I hope to do, to listen to you, to serve you, and to make sure that you have the best of the experience you can ever determine. Thank you.
Okay, and next up is Chelsea.
Hi everyone, so I'm Chelsea and I believe that I'm the best candidate for your union president, as I've had many experiences within Kent Union. So these range from being employed as a retail assistant as well as a licensed trade assistant, being a college committee member, a welfare officer last year, chairing your union zone, being a union council member and a Welcome Week team leader for 2 years in a row. So you might think it's a bit pointless for me to list all of these experiences, but it's exactly these points that have taught me what it is that Kent Union does and how best it can be improved. So I split my manifesto points into 3 main points. My first being more education, more rewards and more facilities. So under more education, I'd lobby for a more efficient module registration. I'd lobby for more printer credit allowances, depending on what modules you take and how many essays you're expected to hand in. And for recorded lectures, especially for final year students. Under rewards, I'd lobby for loyalty cards in all Kent Union outlets, employee discount cards, as well as promotion and discount phone apps so that all promotions will be sent straight to your phone or computer. Under facilities, I'd lobby for more parking, more cash points, but most importantly, more social spaces on campus, as next year, the Attic and Rutherford Bar are being taken over, so they're going to be leaving us with even fewer spaces, social spaces that we've got on campus. So if you've got any questions, come find me later, read my full manifesto, and remember to vote for more. Thank you.
So remember that you can get involved on Twitter as well. All you have to do is use hashtag yes, followed by the candidate's first name. Make sure you put KTV at Kent_TV in that tweet as well.
That's better. Oh, there's an awful lot of you. Hello, I'm Anthony. I'm a third-year physics undergraduate, and I'm running to be your union president. A little bit about what I've done here at the union. I'm the current science faculty rep. I've been a sports club president for 2 years. I was a Welcome Week leader this year. And yeah, so I've got 3 main points that I want to work on if elected. Engagement, education, and money. Engagement. I don't think enough people are as involved in the union or know about what it does as they should be. And I think that's something that really, really needs to be worked on. To this end, I would include a welcome pack in everyone's room, or at least in their email inboxes at the start of the year, so that they know exactly what Kent Union does and what it can do for them. In education. From speaking to students, I've heard that some faculties feel underrepresented within Kent Union. And I would want to work to increasing the awareness of perhaps the differences between faculties. So that's why I would work to equalise the awareness of faculties in Kent Union, and I'd work with the VP for Education to expand and improve the course rep system. And money. I don't think that Kent campus in Canterbury and in Medway are the cheapest places in the world. In fact, it's quite expensive. So I would want to instigate a review to make sure that A, living costs, and B, social costs are as competitive as they can be compared to other universities. Thank you for listening. I'm Anthony. Please vote number 1 for me.
So remember that you can get involved on Twitter as well. All you have to do is use hashtag yes, followed by the candidate's first name. Make sure you put KTV at Kent_TV in that tweet as well.
Okay, and our final speech of the evening will be delivered by Matt.
No pressure, right. I actually have about 5 speeches. Like all the candidates, it is very difficult to choose what policies you're going to talk about. So I'm not going to talk about my policies. I'm going to talk about why I'm here. And why I'm here is I want to change the way people think about Kent Union. It should not be a case of we talk about it as if it's just the place that runs centrals. It's just the SABs. Kent Union is every single member. Every single member of Kent Union needs to know that Kent Union can contribute to their life here and that they can contribute to Kent. I have been a course rep last year, I'm a school rep this year and a president of society, and it is incredibly rewarding. I can't really explain how much satisfaction I get from helping students, and every student at Kent should feel that, should have that opportunity and should want to get involved with the union. My policies make that easier. People should get involved with Kent Union. I want to make it easy for them to do so, every single person at Kent to do that. So please vote for me. I will open up the union so much. Thank you.
Okay, we'll now move on to the questions. Every candidate will answer each question, and you have a minute.
So here are the results at the moment. Let's fire up the power bar. And you can see way in the lead is Carl at the moment. Philip just behind. Chelsea and Anthony have still got some work to do. Tom and Matthew will get those tweets in soon, and we'll give you the latest update after the questions.
On? Yeah. My biggest manifesto point is, as I said in the opening speech, the student funding. I think this is the biggest problem that all students here face, and I will combat it through access agreements and loans and bursaries from the university. Under this as well, I will also lobby work with the university to introduce a scheme to financially support postgraduates. These schemes are being seen now in other universities, and I believe that Kent should have one to help support their postgraduates.
Okay, and now moving on to Joanna.
That's actually quite a good question. And my answer to that is I think the most important thing the union needs to do is engage with the students. So my main point is greater information, which includes a better website, zone meetings with more people that actually go, and when policy is enacted, more people getting involved. Because with all of these things, all the other points my runners also raise can all be complemented by this. But students need to actually know what's going on before any policy is being enacted in the first place.
Okay, and Chelsea?
Okay, so like Joanna, mine's student engagement. My main policy is so many students still don't know what it is the SABs do. They don't know what it is Kent Union does. Having all my experiences, listing them all previously, you can see that I know quite a lot within the union, have quite a lot of experiences. People don't realise that every single student is part of the union. So we're here, our main job is to represent the students. And if the students don't come out to us and voice out, tell us what's wrong, then we're not going to be able to change things. So the students need to get involved more in order for us to do our job properly. There we go.
Okay, and Phil?
For questions, I tend to think standing up maybe is the best thing. Personally, my biggest policy, I'd like to think most of you know it, is to reform our union. It's to make it more open, it's to make it more accountable. How do I think I achieve this? In terms of from its democratic structures, I believe that there should be a minimum amount of people at democracy zones to make them legitimate. I believe that just some general basic things like decent publishing of minutes, things like that. Not only this, I also believe that, for example, the president and all the SABs should have weekly and documented surgeries like MPs do, so people can actually go to their representatives, tell them what's going wrong, and they can deal with them. I want to open up, and I want to reform the union, and I hope you guys will allow me to do so. Thank you very much.
Okay, and Kayinde?
Mine is to make sure that the students get the best of experience And even before I decided to become a president, I already applied for a 10 conference to start up in Queen's University. I'm planning to, and I'm going to be having a Skype chat with the person this evening, which is the fact that my purpose is not just to go out there, but it's to go out there with a difference. I also want to engage, like, we need to gain from the depth and wealth of international students that is just so dominant in Kent University. We also need to reach the benchmark of the university across across universities in the UK and the world. We need to raise our benchmark in terms of education, academic, sport, clubs, and societies. That's what I stand for. Thank you.
Okay, and Carl?
Oh, that's handy because I got the mic. I'm going to stand up as well because I can see everyone at the back now. I think we've all been talking about engagement, and we're all seeing it from this very narrow mind. Engagement, being involved in the union, doesn't mean going to a meeting where the first thing you do is accept the minutes from the previous meeting. We are engaged. Many of us are engaged. We like to improve our course as a course rep, or become part of a society, or a committee member for a society, or just raising money for RAG. And I think the union, this is engagement, and we need to respect that as engagement and reach out to these people and tell them what Kent Union is, but see engagement as differently, because we all want to see a better university life here, and we're all getting involved with it in different ways.
Okay. And now Matt.
Hello. Right. Can you repeat the question?
Yes.
Yeah,
what is your biggest manifesto promise, and how will you deliver this change?
okay, that's what I thought. Right. It is reform, but I have written quite extensively on this, that I would create an open democracy forum. It would be a place, it was a new structure, like a zone, but you wouldn't be making policy. You'd be having a discussion, because there is nowhere to do that. And you would be critical of Kent Union and its structures in a constructive manner. But at the same time, also an online forum, because I find it very odd that it's the 21st century and it's the second decade of the 21st century, and there's no online forum where you can just discuss union issues. So I would get that for us. I've been told it's feasible, so yeah, those are mine mainly.
Okay, and now Anthony.
I suppose I'll stand up as well. Not to jump on the engagement bandwagon, unfortunately that is my major manifesto point, because with any system of government we derive the power from the people who elect us, and if we don't know what they want, how can we possibly make an informed decision on what we want to work towards? So the way I would fix that, as I mentioned in my speech, is, and it's only the first part of the plan, is to introduce a welcome pack for when students start university, so that they know exactly what the union does, who its officers are, and what it can do for them. Because at the moment, if they don't know what it can do, then they can't possibly ask for its help. Having a conversation with a student the other day, another avenue to go down is actually improving the course rep system, as I mentioned in my education part, because that is really a very, very easy way to get to a vast number of students, because every course has a course rep. So that would be my main two ways of fixing engagement, which is my main manifesto point. Yeah.
And finally, Tom.
Because I'm too short, I have to stand up here. My main point would be creativity. I want to bring more creativity to the union through cross-journals and lots of lectures as well, because we've got to bring in academics from across the range to get more people involved. Because you get people passionate through their courses, they enjoy their experience a lot more, and then they can get more involved with the union itself. If they can see there's a strong partnership and a strong link between the university and the union, they'll believe more in the union itself. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, we'll now move on to our second question, which is, what are your views on the Kent Union no platform policy? And we will start with Carl.
No platform shouldn't be there to limit free speech. Free speech is important. But when people want to preach hatred, whether it's racist, homophobic, or sexist, and it hurts our students, I support the no platform policy.
Okay, and we'll move on to Tom.
Yeah, I sort of agree a lot with what Carl said. It's important that people have a voice and a platform to speak, but if it harms other people, then that's not really acceptable. So, yeah, I'd agree with Carl with that one. Thanks.
Okay. And Anthony?
Unfortunately, I too agree. I don't think that being allowed to speak hatred in any form should be allowed ever. But I don't want that to act as a barrier to free speech generally. So I agree with the policy of no platform, but I don't want people to get perhaps overzealous with it and stopping speech that they may not agree with just for the sake of not agreeing with it, if that makes any sort of sense.
Okay, and Kayinde?
Thank you. Of course, we're human and we want to be free like birds, want to fly the cloud and swim like a fish in the ocean. So I agree with this policy. Thank you.
Okay, and Grace?
Similarly to all of the others, I agree with the policy. It is there to protect students and it isn't impeding on free speech.
And Phil?
I'd rather go down on a point of principle. I do not agree with a no platform policy. This is not the way you combat homophobia or bigotry. I'm gay myself, and I don't like people calling me a or whatever. But this is not the way you combat it. If, for example, the reason why the BNP have become almost non-existent now is because they were shown for the scum they are. We tackle their views, and this is how you deal with bigotry. You don't let it fester, you attack it head on, and this is how you do it. Thank you very much.
Okay, and Chelsea?
Well, I'm going to go with the majority here. I also agree with the non-platform policy. I think Kent Union is called the European University for a reason. We have many different students, a wide variety of different backgrounds, religions, ethnicities. We need to respect everyone, live together, learn how to cope, and it's a great way to, it's a great experience for the future. We also have a zero tolerance campaign, and there's no way that we could have the zero tolerance platform without a no platform policy. So I support it completely.
Okay, and Joanna?
I'm going to have to agree with Phil on this one. I disagree with a platform policy, simply because if you do spout out hatred, you are, firstly, if you're spouting hatred, you're going to gain unpopularity anyway. And secondly, that the students who are having horrible words said to them will be protected by the zero tolerance policy anyway. I reserve everyone's right to say what they like. And at the end of the day, students can make up their own mind to decide whether their speech is hateful or not. And if someone is saying something hateful, then quite rightly so, they'll be denounced for the scum they are through the media and through Inquire and through other students. And I think that's the best way to tackle it.
Okay, and finally, Matt.
I'm really glad that somebody asked this question because it's something I'm really passionate about. I don't agree with the no platform policy as it is now because this is a university, okay? We have cutting edge research, we should have cutting edge debate. And we can only do that without the no platform policy as it is. I would like to see people like the BNP brought on campus. And like Phil, I agree, we would destroy them, to be honest. This is the only way that you combat these things, is to bring them out into the open and just show how disgusting some of these ideas are. And you can only do that with discussion. You can't hide it away. As for having people on campus just leafleting or so on, then no. But we should at least be able to have lectures where we have BNP people in, closed doors where people get a choice whether they deal with those things. Okay.
Okay, and now moving on to the third and final question of tonight. Okay. Despite women making up 56% of the student population at Kent and nearly 60% nationwide, Less than 40% of the candidates in these elections are women, and only 22% of students' union presidents in the UK are women. What do you think are the barriers to women participating, and how will you challenge this? And we will start with Anthony.
Crikey, that's a hard question. I like it. As to the barriers, I think that in some respects, if we've got, as we have this year, an all-male SAB team leaving, it may be hard for women to see a role model in the SAB team to emulate. I know a couple of years ago we had Lauren Crowley, who was a fantastic SAB, and seeing someone do the job for 2 years and do it well is a great motivator for people to actually get involved. How to combat it, I think the best way is to vote some women this year. So if we can get some women candidates in, that'd be great.
Okay, and we'll move on to Matt.
Could you repeat that? Because it was a very long question. Yeah.
Despite women making up 56% of the student population at Kent and nearly 60% nationwide, less than 40% of the candidates in these elections are women, and only 22% of students' union presidents in the UK are women. What do you think are the barriers to women participating, and how will you challenge these?
What do I think of the barriers? Well, to be honest, I think if any of us knew, then that wouldn't be the case. I have an issue with talking about it in terms of gender. I would prefer we're gender blind when we talk about these things. I like to be able to talk about people on their individual merits, and to me, gender doesn't matter, in that sense. I honestly, I think that the stuff that NUS has done, where they've had specific, what do you call them, meetings for female candidates, is a really good idea. I do think that strong female role models are good, but I do think we need to be careful about just talking about getting women in these positions just because they're women, because that's not right. We should always be judging people on their individual merits. So.
Okay, and we'll move on to Phil.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting question. I do think there is a problem. Politics can be a game which it can be somewhat overly aggressive, and I think it can put a lot of people off, both women and men, quite frankly. But then now we've got a point where we've had all VP team, all of them are women. At the moment, it's quite likely that after this election, you're going to have a mostly gay selection of people. So it swings and roundabouts. I do think, but like I said, I think it's wise to open it up and to make sure that there is no barriers. But I think what you can see is, if you've met these people, they're not put off in any way. And I just think it's wise we just make sure everything is open and just be, quite frankly, gender blind, quite frankly. Thank you.
Okay, and Carl?
As for barriers, there are loads of them. And I mean, those statistics are shocking. And they're the same often when you look even at our candidates from nationwide, for ethnic minorities, for LGBT, for students with disabilities. At the minute, you can't be a president, have the president's office if you're in a wheelchair, because you can't get up there. So that's a huge barrier for them. But for women, the barriers are clear. There isn't as many role models. Just nominating yourself is a really tough process, and everyone needs more support. It is really hard, and I commend every single person that has nominated themselves, because it is a tough, tough thing to do. And to come up and do speeches like this is a really life-changing experience. As for what I do to help it, I think as a man, there's a limited role, but it's to work with the women's campaign and all the liberation campaigns to make sure, as part of the liberation strategy that I'm working on, with many others, that we are really encouraging people from liberation groups.
So just a reminder then that you can vote by putting @Kent_TV, followed by
Chelsea?
#yes and the first name of the candidate.
It's quite easy. If you let me, I'd break the barriers. No, but in all honesty, though, I don't really think there are many barriers. I wasn't put off by the all-male SAB team at all. In fact, if anything, it encouraged me to nominate myself. and go for a leading role like I have done. So there's great diversity here in this group. It's not divided by gender. So yeah, there are no barriers.
Okay, and Joanna?
Hi, yeah. I don't know why women are put off running for president, really. I mean, the idea that if you have a female role model, you'll run, I think that's, no offence, but quite frankly absurd. Because I didn't look at females running and think, oh gosh, because I'm a woman, I want to run. I ran because I thought I could make a difference. And I don't think that's relevant to the fact that I'm a woman and some people here are men. I think the fact is, I agree with what Phil and Matt said. I think we should just look at this as who's the best candidate, not, who's the best woman in the race. I think it should, if there were all 5 male SABs and they're the best 5, then fair enough. If there were 5 female SABs and they're the best 5, then fair enough. I think it should be who's the best for the job, not whether you're a woman or not.
Okay, and next up is Grace.
A couple of weeks ago, the NUS Women's Officer was down and all female candidates were invited to meet with her. And she brought up a study which says if there's a list of 10 things for a job, a man will look at it, see 4 that he can do and just go for it, whereas a woman is more likely to see 7 or 8 that she can do and think, oh no, I can't do all of them, I shouldn't go for it. I don't know whether that is true or whether it's not, but that's a possible explanation for why there is a lack of women running for these positions. But it's similar to what Joanna said. The best people should get the job. Yes, there's 5 male SABs now, but they were, and they've proved themselves to be the best people for the job. So if we vote on who's the best, then we'll see what happens on the 22nd.
Okay, and Kayinde?
Yeah, I believe the boundary or the obstacle that is obstructing women to go beyond themselves and be the leader is either one of 2 things or one single thing. It could be because they're having an environment that is so unsupportive, or they're having an habitation that is sinking. So it's either to work on one of those 2 things or to work on both things. But first of all, as a leader, they need to work on themselves, build themselves up, and we need to support them also by creating the environment they need that will build them up together. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, and our final answer of the night will come from Tom.
No pressure. I think it's a really difficult issue to tackle. I mean, next year there will be a lot more part-time officers who are female, so hopefully in that sense there will be a lot more people coming through on that level. Also, I think we've got to promote, say, like International Women's Week a lot more, and events perhaps to encourage more people in general to run. I think it's just, as everyone said, it's a difficult question to answer, but as long as you've got the right candidates running who feel passionately about what they're doing, I think it doesn't really matter about gender. I think it's just really the ideas and whether you can put things in place that is the important thing. So just standing up for everyone is important, doesn't matter what your gender is. Thanks for all coming, by the way. You've been great. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Tom, and a big round of applause for all our candidates tonight. Thank you for coming.
So guys, I'm sure you want to find out the results of the power bars, and why don't we fire them up now? There they are. So you can see there, if we, you can't see because we've got the Yes Tom graphic covering it, but Phil and Carl are pretty much neck and neck, but we can tell you we've got the votes in front of us, that Carl just does pip it. Thank you so much for everyone who got involved. If you're wondering why the others are so low, it's because we just had so many votes and so many tweets in for those 2 candidates. So congratulations for everyone who did get involved, and well done to those 2 candidates. We must stress again that the votes on Twitter had absolutely nothing to do at all with the polling for the actual thing. It's just a bit of fun that KTV were doing, and thank you very much for joining our live stream. Yeah, please do go and vote. I believe voting opens very, very soon.
Yep, voting's open from tomorrow. All the candidates will be out in the plaza tomorrow afternoon to gain up joint support. Thank you very much for watching our live show, and we will see you at Results Night. KTV will be live at Results Night next Friday, so please tune in then. Thank you very much for watching, and good night.